All right, everybody, buckle up. It's a long form version of I Plead the First. We got a good long episode on Friday night with me, Jason, and Kristina. I'll see you on the other side.
American dream. I plead the first. White shirt, blue jeans. I bleed the verse. American dream.
Now, don't think about that. Let's go.
All right, here we are. Welcome to I Plead the First. It's Joe, Jason, and Kristina.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Happy Good Friday, ladies and gentlemen.
Good Friday, yes. Jason, you had a traumatic week.
I had a traumatic 10 seconds.
That you don't remember.
Develop the rest of my week.
Dude, did you ever figure out what happened?
No. The way I'm piecing it together is I misstepped and fell and hit my head on a bolt and woke up later.
Nasty. It looked pretty gross.
It's pretty gross. I got some new jewelry though. I got 7 staples in the back of my head.
Staples. Damn.
Staples. Yeah, too big for sutures, so they had to staple it.
Yeah, that's pretty serious, man.
Yeah, you could have literally died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More air for everybody else.
Stop.
Oh
Stop.
my God.
Glad you're here, man.
Oh, glad to be had.
I got the beautiful Beaver Lake behind me. Did you see that?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Is
that yours? Is that a drone picture?
It's not my particular drone picture. It's somebody's drone picture that I stole.
Yeah, it's really
I was just
cool.
playing around with the modern capabilities. There I am. Oh, instantly back in my office. Amazing. So you guys had a rough week. You were in the hospital. Did you get out last night?
Got out about 5 or 6. I don't know. Yesterday was yesterday was a nice clean day. All my gear was working. My truck was loaded right. Bumped dock, decided I was going to be helpful, and that was a mistake. Don't be helpful.
Just stand around and be voluntold.
Yep. So I was trying to help out, and I misstepped and fell. I was about 3 feet, but there was upside down feet, so those count more. Caught my head on the back of it's a hinge bolt, and they're about as big as your thumb. There's 3 or 4 of them run up the side of the trailer.
That could have just as easily punctured your skull and killed you.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep, that's what I've been told. The HR lady was very finger wagging me, mom talking me this morning. So it's a good thing. Good thing I'm here, I suppose.
Don't ever trip again.
They had a video of it. We were trying to get it. They won't let us have it.
Oh, why? They don't want you to like sue them or some shit.
Yeah, it's not closed yet. Once it's closed, I'll probably ask again, but it's in about a week. It'll be all done.
Yeah.
That's good. I'm just glad you're okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's really cool. It's crazy gory. I don't know how much gore you can put up there, but I sent it to you.
You sent me the video?
No,
the pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll show the pictures if we get the video.
I don't know. I'll try.
If we get the video, we'll do a play-by-play. We'll do a play-by-play.
Well, put it up on what's that little skater dude that's got his own show there? Ridiculousness. Put it up on Ridiculousness. Don't do this.
Well, I'm over here. It's Friday night. I'm having drinks.
Yep. I'm not supposed to be drinking, so I'm not.
Copy that.
Yeah.
Were you put on protocol?
Yeah, I was gonna go home, but I figured a 900-foot elevation change would probably not do my swollen head any good.
That's fair.
We passed on leaving. We're gonna hang out down here. I think we're 900 feet, 800 feet here. We're not very tall.
Yeah, barely above sea level, really.
Yep.
Well, I'm sorry you guys didn't get to go home and have a good time with all the peoples.
Yeah. He'll do it again. I'm sure it'll go off like a hitch, and he'll do it again next year. I'll go check it out then.
Yeah,
That's cool.
it'll be fun. How was your week?
Busy, man. Like a lot of days where I didn't get home until 7:30. So I've been posting a lot of late videos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not as young as you once were.
Oh man, dude.
Feeling that, are you?
I truly enjoy doing this. I truly enjoy like doing the podcast or whatever you want to call it. Hey, there's Gracie.
She's kind of wounded herself. She stayed out in the
Grace, come here.
sunshine too long.
So,
She got sunburn already. It's
Yes,
April.
burnt.
She's
Yes.
toasted.
Well, hey
Yeah.
there, Pinky. Jeez. That's jeez. You look pink.
Yeah.
She looks like a Star Trek character.
As long as she doesn't look like a Star Wars character, I guess we're okay.
Oh,
Yeah. I saw your last Doodah Day.
taking it-
I'll let you know.
I'm taking it hard, bro. I'm taking it
I
hard.
think that it's just from what I've read, it's just the cover, and they're just saying, "Hey, look at me, like they do." You know,
Just pandering.
I don't know because I haven't read the series yet, so I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it's not.
I read the first book of the High Republic, not the comic book, but the novel.
Mhm.
Absolute garbage.
You know, and you were saying about the rock character Geode, and they're going on and on and on about how they're having a hard time coming up with characters. But Dark Horse has 20 years with an exceptional storyline that they just said, no, we're not doing it.
Exactly. That's because Kathleen Kennedy came out and said there was no source material to go off of, which there were millions of pages of source material to go off of.
Which just means she hasn't read any of the books. She hasn't read any of the comics. She's not a Star Wars fan.
She's not. She doesn't care. She doesn't like
she's
it.
what, the CEO?
No,
She's the president.
In charge of, she works for Disney, but she's in charge of Lucasfilm.
The president of Lucasfilm, yeah. Handpicked by George Lucas, which I feel bad for him because I feel like he was kind of bamboozled, and she told him that she would take good care of his characters and his legacy.
And see, the reality of it is that's all subjective.
Right.
I'm sure she loves what she does, but
that's fair.
Yeah.
I think that's something that's actually a good thing to add to the conversation, is she probably thinks she's doing great things.
Yeah. And maybe that's definitely not covering the old fan base, and maybe it's not covering a broader fan base, but her and the modern thinkers are probably quite happy about it.
Well, I just don't understand. I guess she must have felt left out of the original Star Wars series, which I just don't understand. Like, one of the strongest female characters to ever exist, in my opinion, is Princess Leia.
Oh yeah, I totally agree with that one.
She's a strong woman. Like, there's no part of her character that says like weak woman.
Yeah.
I mean, remember the original movie where they rescue her? I mean, she kind of takes charge.
Yeah.
Punk, I'm a senator.
Well, she takes charge during her own rescue. She's like, I got this, get out of the way.
Well, and even when she was being kidnapped, she was flipping Vader off, and Vader was like, come on.
Right.
Go to yourself.
What part of that character says weak female? None of it to me. I don't know. I guess she needed to wear a pantsuit, and that would be more appropriate, I guess.
Good for her. I'm glad she's doing well for her.
I've done too much Star Wars lately, guys. We gotta talk about something else.
You know, I see you getting upset about this stuff, and it's like, Joe, man, in through the nose, out through the mouth. It's not gonna get better soon.
I know, man, but it's not gonna get better.
Everything that you think that you cherish, you might as well just stop doing that and pretend that the rest of it doesn't exist. If
What do
you
you
want
do?
to cherish it.
What do you do?
Well, you read books 1 through 20, but not 21 through 30.
That really bothers my OCD.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yep, absolutely. I know what you mean.
And to be clear, I don't want to be like someone that doesn't acknowledge what reality was. There was parts of the old expanded universe that I didn't like, like I read some of the older books before Disney took over, and I'm like, really, guys? Like there was books I didn't like, but there was overwhelming majority of the expanded universe was really fun.
I honestly doubt. Now, this is just, I'm shooting a 3-pointer here. I honestly doubt that they'll bring the Mara Jade character around. She's too strong, and then she's a wife instead of a strong
Right.
woman. So that's,
Yeah.
oh no, she can't be a strong woman and a wife. That ain't gonna fly. So
I
they just won't bring her around. They'll just ignore her like it never happened.
Mara Jade was a great character.
She was amazing.
We're getting into some really nerdy
You
shit.
guys have gone all nerd control.
Yeah, we went super nerd.
No idea what you're talking about.
That's Luke Skywalker's wife.
Okay.
Yeah, so I guess for the people that didn't know, there was this whole universe beyond the movies that were
20
books
years
and
worth.
comic books and all of that stuff, and they had some really fantastic characters written by some fantastic authors that just they really strengthened the story. And I spent a large majority of my young adulthood hoping for movies that at least stuck to that a little bit, I mean, took from that, I guess.
Yep.
I wouldn't have been mad if they changed a little bit of it, but take the spirit of what those authors did, because they had a great story plot.
Yeah.
Here's something along those exact same lines, and I don't know if you're allowed to use company names or whatnot, but I'm going to. You can edit it later.
No, yeah, go for it.
Marvel just picked up Aliens, and I just got the Aliens series #1. Not at all like Aliens. I mean, they got the same type of thing, but the way they, I don't know, gestate and the character line and the writing, it's just not close. It's not. So I'm hoping that all of Aliens doesn't just suddenly go away. All that we knew of that.
So
that just doesn't. That's not canon, so it didn't exist.
Was it for a purpose? Was it political, or was it just somebody wanted to write a new story?
Cha-ching.
Just money.
If they wanted to write a new story, they would have let Dark Horse or an independent company take the reins.
Yeah.
Let's get some young blood in there. Let's write a new story. Yeah. Now they bottled it up and packed it with Mickey Mouse ears, so whatever.
Yeah.
We'll see. Yep. The first one seemed okay, but if you're trying to compare it to the first one, I don't know.
Since we're just gonna stick on this nerdy topic for a moment, that's the way Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, which are responsible for The Mandalorian, that's the way they're actual fans of Star Wars, and they love the series. They grew up watching it, reading the books, reading the comic books, and they have like a sense of what the fans love about Star Wars. And they don't always write what I would write, but they stick to the spirit of the series, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's why The Mandalorian was so successful, is because these guys that actually like Star Wars were writing it, and they know stuff about, like you were so excited with the last episode of Mandalorian because we were going to see Boba Fett and the kind of the underworld, dark horse stuff, like everybody that's a comic book guy was, oh, that's what I'm excited about, and for a whole nother large majority of the fan base, it was Luke coming back and appearing to be an actual strong Jedi that wasn't a pussy and throwing his fucking lightsaber off the mountain like a bitch. I mean, it was cool. It's like, oh yeah.
Well, it would have been prior to him starting his school, when he was gathering up younglings to start his school up.
Right. And he's an actual master, and he's not a wimp.
Yep.
So yeah. Anyway, this is
depressing. What I like about The Mandalorian is we get in our heads, that was the first one was 78, and then 82, and then 84 or something like that. That was the first set. And and we take the American mythos and Boba Fett, he's untouchable. Well, if you go back and watch, he was just a guy that was struggling to make a buck.
Yeah.
That's exactly what Mandalorian is. He's not this is a huge cult and you can't be shot. And dude was stumbling and fumbling. He was just trying to get this kid home.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I dig how they not only did he keep it strong to what Lucas did, but he really added the human factor to the Mando. I don't know his name, Mando character.
Din Djarin,
yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting that you brought that up because I was over at Beaver Bob's house tonight and Star Wars came up and we were talking
Did he say
about
something ridiculous like Ozzy Osbourne would have been the best Jedi ever? Boba Fett never played for the Chiefs.
Oh, Beaver Bob. No, we were actually talking about why Star Wars was great. And it was because you could relate it and because the bad guys blurred the lines and it wasn't like they were clear evil, right? Like you could see human in them. You could see why they fell to the dark side and how it was alluring and why it was tempting to fall to the dark side. And would you fall to the dark side if you were in that same situation? You know what I mean? And with the bounty hunters, it's just like, are they bad guys? They're just trying to make a buck, man. They're doing a job.
Yep.
Are they bad guys? They're not bad guys from the Empire's point of view.
Right. They're a tool that they use. They're contractors.
Right. They're contractors, right? They're exactly that. So we started talking about that and we talked about why Star Wars kind of related with people and hit home. It's because you can look at that and you can say, okay, this explains a lot psychologically why we've had people in history fall to very evil tasks because it's a slippery slope. And you can be sold into, oh, this isn't bad. This is you're fighting for your country.
And particularly when it's being indoctrinated into you.
Yeah.
How's that for segue, Joe?
It's a great segue. It's a great segue because you look at, and this is something Jordan Peterson talks about a lot, is if you objectively look at the people that were running camps, internment camps and stuff in Germany, can you truly say that you wouldn't have fallen in that trap if you were a German?
Well, and even the internment camps that we had here for the Japanese.
Yeah.
They were just government employees, man. They were just doing their job.
Yeah. Actually, it's funny that you bring up the Japanese internment camps because Beale Air Force Base in California, I was stationed there for 5 years. They actually have a Japanese internment camp there from World War II, and you can go visit it and look at it. It's just there. I mean, it's ruins. But you can, I mean, it's visual and you can see they were locking up Japanese Americans just because they were Japanese.
Yep.
Was that right? Absolutely not. But we did it. And you can understand how we did it.
In this climate of political falderall, I'm surprised that it doesn't get talked about more often, honestly. Because that was unbelievably horrific what we did.
Yeah.
I don't think people even know we did it.
Right. Or they'll just say, oh, it never happened. Oh, that sounds terrible. There's no way we could have done that.
Oh, it happened. And you know what I mean? Like, you're right. There are probably some people out there that would say that didn't happen. That's just propaganda, which is the danger of falling into these, whatever my side says is right.
Right.
Which I know we all agree on, the three of us, is, just because my side says something is good doesn't mean it's necessarily good. I'm going to think for myself.
Absolutely. We need more of that too.
Which, I don't know if they'll actually see it or not, but I would like to give a shout out to our liberal friends that are on our Facebook page, because they stick in there and they let their opinion be known on our posts and you know what? I'm proud of them because they stick in there and they know that they're way outnumbered on our page, but they still let their opinion be known and they stick in, they don't quit. And that's really appreciated. It's really cool that they stay in there. So Eric and what's the other lady's name? I'm blanking out because I'm half in the bag, but Teresa. Teresa is her name. But there's a couple others as well that are liberal that they're on our page and they let their opinion be known, and I really appreciate them being around.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, and that's a thing that, not that I have any sway or say of your stuff, just I'll listen to your opinion if you're not screaming in my face about your opinion. Let's talk. You want to talk? Let's talk.
Yeah.
But
Right.
when you're yelling at me about you're wrong, you're bad, you're the scum of the earth. Okay, all right, I am. Go away.
And that's the thing that I think we've been building on the Facebook page. If some of the viewers aren't over there, we have a lot of discussions where they'll post their opinion and we discuss it, and they don't call me a racist for having a different idea. And I appreciate that because that is all too common right now. If you disagree with one side, then you're a racist. And if you disagree with our side, you're a socialist or whatever. So we
One
got
thing I've noticed is that everything is the highways not being fixed through Louisiana, it's racist. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what it seems like that's what the left is using to justify everything, like everything. So like Georgia's new law for voting, that's just racism.
Yeah.
It's, you know, it's not because it's fair for everyone to vote. I mean, you have to have a driver's license to get freaking anything in this country, period. Sudafed. I mean, but you don't need one to vote. So it's just, yeah, that whole racist thing is getting super old.
Yeah. If you disagree with me, then you
You're
must
racist.
be a bigot of
Yep.
some sort.
Xenophobic
Well,
or
see,
whatever.
what's frightening about calling everything racist is if everything is racist, then how are we going to recognize true racism?
Yep.
If everything is racist,
That's an
when it
excellent point.
happens, when it comes down the pipe and the horrific crap happens, how are we going to know?
That's an excellent point because when true racism raises its head, you're kind of numb to somebody saying it's racism. You might not even respond because you're like the boy who cried wolf,
Right.
which I would hope we would all still be able to recognize that and jump up to their defense and say, no, bullshit. That's racism. I am not standing for that. Right. But eventually there's fatigue and you're like, man, everything's racist.
I'm just done with it. Yeah.
So that's that's an interesting point. Actually, I hadn't really thought about it from that point of view,
So,
which is surprising because I've thought about that a lot. But I always thought about them using it as a tool, not necessarily the mental effect on our side.
Well, and I do think they use it as a tool, as a propaganda weapon to wear down our resolve, so that after a while, then complacency kicks in, and then it's whatever.
Yeah.
It's carte blanche on whatever they want to do. And I think that they're doing the same thing with throwing out these huge gun law bills. If they just keep pounding us and keep pounding us and keep pounding us and keep pounding us, eventually, I hope not ever, but I think that's the plan. I think that if they just keep pounding us with these, I'm going to take your rights away deals,
then pretty soon
then
it's just like,
it'll start becoming, okay, we heard this story already. We're going to get complacent about this. I really think that's the plan.
we got to keep fighting to
Yeah.
keep our guns, no matter what.
Yeah, keep the line from getting blurred for sure.
Yeah.
I had a similar thought on that, and it was the reason I take such a hard stance on anti-gun control is I feel like every time we come to the table, we've made compromises and said, okay, I get it. I understand. Let's have some sensible gun control. Let's not take guns away, but let's make a few more restrictions or let's make a few more laws or rules. And it's never enough. It's never enough. They're always going to come back to the table. Well, it's not working. We need more. We need more. We need more. When is it enough? When are people accountable for their own actions? And that's the problem with it. So I've kind of come to the point where, me personally, I'm like, no more, period. I don't care. I don't care how reasonable your proposal is. I am not giving not 1 inch more, because you always ask for more after I agree to whatever concession.
Yep. Well, I think the is getting to the point where the woke side is starting to get irritated too with the head woke people. There's a lot of leftists starting to be like, what the hell is going on? I've noticed lately, probably within the last couple months, a lot more questions being answered from the, as Trump would say, fake news. So they're actually, they're kind of pushing back, which was something they didn't do at first when Joe got into office. So now it seems like they're asking more questions of him that the right side would have asked, which is, I think, it's starting to wear on people. This is really kind of out of control.
I really think she's still getting a lot of softball questions.
Oh yeah,
The-
I mean they are.
No, but
But-
that's why I did the Bill Maher episode, because Bill Maher is someone I see as a traditional liberal, if you will, which he has ideas that I surely disagree with, for sure. However, he's reasonable enough to say that, hey, we're going a little bit too far with this, guys. Like, we got to pull it back.
Yep.
And I never thought I would ever say, oh, Bill Maher has an excellent point, but he does.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. And we're what 3 months in? There's only
Yeah.
been like, this is nuts. I mean, we have like 4 years to go with this guy, or this administration. We're only 3 months in.
Well, and I'm really hoping that there is a big swing of the pendulum, but what I'm afraid of is, if you continue to swing that pendulum back and forth, it's just going to swing harder to the right, harder to the left, harder to the right, harder to the left, until
Mhm.
something just breaks. And the far right is just as dangerous as the far left.
Oh,
Um,
totally agree. Yeah.
we saw that with Germany in the 30s and 40s, obviously.
Mhm.
And you can pick times in history where there's multiple times in history where the far left was just as dangerous.
And the catch is the same. The trap is the same trap. Give me everything. Let me control everything that you have.
Yeah.
Power and money.
Yep.
Whether you go extreme right or extreme left, it's totalitarianism no matter what.
Right.
Really kind of, that's the reason why I like Trump so much. He really loved the country. I mean, he really, really loves the United States and the people in it. And he wasn't there, I believe he wasn't there for money, obviously, because he didn't even get paid for it. And that's what you need, is someone in office that loves people.
I saw an article today. I don't mean to turn sideways here, but I saw an article today where Trump had won $400 million suit against Pelosi for slander or something to that effect. And I thought, what kind of win is that when she hasn't had a job her whole life? She's not worked a day in her life outside of politics. So all of the money that she has acquired is through tax dollars. So Trump basically won a victory against our tax dollars.
Yeah.
It's not going to change her thinking or her opinion or nothing. It doesn't hurt her at all.
I totally get where you're going, but most of her wealth is acquired from insider knowledge, trading on the stock market, and
Mhm.
public speaking events, and whatever else she might have profited from being a public figure, which in the end, I mean, it does come back to what you're saying. Her pay, as a representative,
Public
is
servant.
as a public servant, it doesn't equal to the millions and millions of dollars that she is worth, but she got it solely because of the position that she held. So yeah, ultimately it is a victory against the people that voted for her, but I don't know. Why'd you keep voting for her?
Again, yeah, exactly.
And that brings me to an interesting point is we are seeing a mass exodus from the state of California, and they're leaking into Nevada and Texas and other states. You could list a long list of states that they're fleeing to, but they don't get it. They're still going to these states and still voting the same way they did for the last 20 years. What do you not understand? You're fleeing California because of the way you voted. Don't keep voting the same way.
Oh, that was like Colorado. Californians overtook Colorado. And then now their governor is just crazy ridiculous. They're trying to get him out of there. And it's literally Boulder is now pretty much California.
Or all of Boulder is Colorado. Colorado is all of Boulder. It's all live. I mean, you got your farmers obviously that on the plains, but they're so sparse compared to Denver and Aurora and Boulder and all the big cities.
Yeah.
And how is that not going to be the same thing in Texas, where Austin is now a liberal hub and a population center, as long as in Dallas and Houston, there are these liberal hubs of people fleeing California. They go to a state that doesn't have an income tax and doesn't have all the things that they voted for years and years, and they're reaping the benefits of Republican voters for years and years, and they're going to go in and vote to destroy all the things they fled to.
Yep. That's a pretty old argument, to be honest.
It is, but it's old, but somehow it still isn't grasped.
and it won't be. And oh man, this is where I gotta shut up, because the things that are in my head, people don't like. So
who cares?
I was like, let's hear it.
It's I plead the first.
I guess it is Friday, isn't it?
It is.
It's I plead the first.
I just got a phone call, and this speaks volumes to the indoctrination machine of public school. Earlier this week, I got a phone call from my daughter's vice principal about where her car was and how come she didn't have a car to drive to school the other day. She goes to school online, so she goes to school here.
So she makes a choice to go in if she wants to.
If she didn't have a car, how come she had a car later on in the day when she went to sports? And I called her back because I was at work, so I didn't want to answer the phone while I got 60,000 pounds on me. So I called her back, and she was really busy, so she couldn't answer the phone call that she sent to me. And I was like, look, where her car is none of your business. You probably ought to call her mom, because she's got way more tact than I do. And I'm not willing to play these tattletale games with little girls. It's not happening. If she said she's not going to be there because she doesn't have a car, well, then maybe you ought to think she's not going to be there because she doesn't have a car, not I'm telling your daddy. And it's so irritating, because you see, I don't know, dude. Now, this is where I'm going to shut it up.
Why? I like where you're going.
I think public schools and public school teachers, and this is my opinion, it's an indoctrination machine, and these people, they scream, they virtue signal. Teachers are heroes. Teachers are teaching your kids. Teachers are heroes. Well, they work part-time. Your part-time heroism isn't cutting it with a guy that's got calluses on his hands, that actually goes out and busts his ass every day. Yeah. I'm not, it's really, really hard to swallow that square pill. Teachers aren't heroes. That's a hard one for me to swallow.
Yeah.
And for you to call me on the phone and tattletale about where her car is, well, first of all, that's none of your business where her car is.
My big problem with public schools is their need or desire to push college education instead of pushing people where they might fit the best.
Right.
Because not everyone is going to be an accountant. Not everyone is going to be a doctor. Not everyone is going to be an engineer. We need truck drivers, we need electricians, we need plumbers, we need any number of trade skills. And you never, ever hear a public school teacher saying it's completely okay for you to go and learn how to be an electrician, because they make really solid money and we need those people.
Yep.
And that's another area where, I know I used this earlier, but the pendulum swings pretty hard. I think we're seeing it right now. They've pushed a lot of people into college. They go and they get a degree in history or women's studies or whatever it is. And then they can't find a damn job because they didn't think about where that degree plan will land them as far as a career. And they're stuck there with student debt and everything else. And they have no usable or marketable skills because they spent 4 years learning about liberal arts or whatever. How is that marketable? Yeah, you got an education and you surely learned things. However, what does that do for the world other than going back into academia and making more Democrat voters?
Yeah, so many people that I know that have their degree are not at all what they're doing. Their degree has nothing to do with what they're doing.
I think the most successful people I know didn't even graduate high school. I'm sorry.
That's the dirty little secret, actually, is out in the world where you and I are, Kristina. A lot of the people that are very, very, very successful either got their degree after the fact or they don't have a degree at all. And they're just
Right.
really good at what they do. And the people that have degrees are trying to get where those people are. It's kind of weird. It's kind of a weird.
It's backwards. Well,
Yeah.
I don't know. I went to college. And that's the same thing when I talk to my daughter. She's like, half of the stuff that I'm learning, because she's starting her own business and I'm having her do everything to learn it. And she's in a marketing class that she's struggling in, but yet she's starting her own business. She's created the slogan, she's created the logo, I mean, the everything for her. But yet she is failing marketing in her class, but she is excelling in the world in
How
her
the hell
business.
how's she failing marketing?
It's the way they teach it. They're not teaching them real life stuff. It's all book mumbo jumbo, and it's nothing that that she's retaining really. It's
Because
it's
it's out of a dated
not
a
really,
dated textbook.
yeah, pretty much. And she's like, if they were teaching me what I'm learning in real life, she goes, I'd be acing this class. She goes, I'm doing really well. I mean, she's doing super well at this to start. So yeah, it's lacking very much so. So yeah, they are getting out there after graduating from college and not having any experience. My first thing when I went to college was I was going to go into cybersecurity. So biometrics and everything else. And that was my big thing, is I wanted to be able to stop hackers. Actually, I wanted to learn how to hack a computer. So, but I went to almost 2 years. I have all the certificates and I have no clue on how to do it. So I switched degrees because I was like, there is no way I'm gonna be marketable. I mean, yeah, I got the certificate, passed all the tests that were there, but there was really no real life situations with all the book crap that I could have done together.
Exactly. And I mean, no insult whatsoever, but you have to have an aptitude for that particular field.
Yep.
And the people that have an aptitude, regardless of the education they receive from the college, they're going to pick up what's actually going on in the real world of that. And they're going to separate it from what they're being taught in the college. And they're going to say, okay, well, this kind of compares. So I'll apply this knowledge, but it's only somewhat comparison to what's really going on in the real world.
Exactly. Yep.
I spent an hour today sitting in on a teleconference or whatever you want to call it. It's a Zoom meeting, talking about SEO, which for people that don't know, that's search engine optimization, because Google is releasing an update, an SEO update this month, and they're significantly changing the way they rate web pages, which if you don't know, that is why when you go to Google and you type in whatever you're looking for, those certain web pages pop up in the position that they pop up. It's all an algorithm that tells you, okay, because Google's in the business of information. They don't care what you are doing as a website. They want to give the person, the searcher, the information that they're looking for, and they change that algorithm sometimes monthly, and you have to keep up with that algorithm. So your marketing class should really be talking a lot about that, because that's the
Yep.
most important thing in marketing right now is SEO, search engine optimization. And I seriously doubt the high school marketing class that Gracie's taking is probably even talking about that at all.
Right. Yeah. Nope, that's not. It's outdated material. Everything changes daily. So,
If you're not up to speed with search engine optimization, then your marketing is way out of date.
right. Yep.
You can hand out flyers or go to Walmart and put flyers under people's windshield wipers if you want to. That's not the way people find things that they want to buy.
Not anymore anyway. Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
They get on Google and they search whatever it is that they're looking for. And a lot of people don't understand that, yeah, you use Google 99% of the time, but did you know that when you do a voice search, that's actually on the Microsoft search engine? So that's going to Bing. So 10% of the searches that you do are actually on Bing and you don't even know
Yay, Bing.
it.
Oh my gosh.
Or DuckDuckGo.
I
That's
use
another.
DuckDuckGo.
Yeah.
They're the little search engine that could do that Bing.
DuckDuckGo is on the rise. DuckDuckGo is a big thing right now. And that
I
is
really
also
like them.
that's also Microsoft based. A lot of people don't understand that.
Yep.
So you think DuckDuckGo is its own thing. You think Bing is its own thing. You think maybe your whatever voice activated, whatever this, that, or the other thing might be, it's either Google or it's Bing or it's whatever. But usually if it's not Google, it is tied into the Microsoft database. So
Do you know the number one thing searched on Bing is?
I don't, man. Tell
I
me.
do Google.
Google. That is probably true,
Yep.
because you have your older generation, they buy whatever device they have and
Just go Google it. Well, I can't. I got to get to Google first.
it's Microsoft Edge or whatever it is, and they don't bother to install Chrome or Firefox. That's pretty interesting. But I'm sure they haven't even had that discussion at the marketing class Gracie's in.
Nope. I don't think so. I'll have to ask her.
To me, aside from building the very basic building blocks of marketing of, hey, the first guy that was selling something, he was selling the first rock, he had to, hey, here's my rock, I'm selling this rock, and then he had to describe it and he had to have a good price, right?
That's right.
This rock's better, and let me tell you why.
Yeah.
Exactly. Once you get past that very basic thing, you also need to jump into how marketing is done in modern times. And I doubt that's what they're doing at the high school your daughter's at.
Nope.
Which is sad. But
Well, that goes back to the whole, we're not going to teach you what you need to know. We're going to teach you what's in this dusty old syllabus.
But you have
yeah,
to buy volume 2, 3, and 4, and 5.
how many high school seniors can pay a bill?
Like
Yeah.
none. Like if they don't have someone teaching them how, like specifically, it's not going to get done.
Or doing taxes online.
Why is that not a skill that is taught in high school? It should be.
Changing a tire.
Yeah.
Checking your oil.
Yeah. Basic life skills should be taught in high school, but we're much more focused on getting them to the next educational level, which is college, which they're going to be taught postmodernism and why reality is subjective and intersectionality is the way of the future, and you are a victim, and if you're not a victim, you're an oppressor.
Yep.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah.
I saw a recent article that was talking about a high school kid that was forced in his class to choose whether he was an oppressor or an oppressed. And he refused to make the decision, and he was failed. And now his mother has a lawsuit against the school.
Good. Jeez. Holy smokes. Where have we gone? That's crazy.
Can you imagine your child being in a class and the teacher saying, well, you need to pick, are you an oppressor or an oppressed?
I can imagine it.
I'm curious how Gracie would take that, what her reaction would be.
Well, she's a woman, so she's oppressed by the
Oh,
patriarchy.
Oh, I would disagree with you on that. She's a woman, so she's an oppressor.
Whatever.
The patriarchy is holding her down, brother.
Yeah.
No. Although, to be fair to the ladies out there, most of the women I know are strong women. There's very few wallflowers that I am aware of in my circle, anyway.
Yeah, but that's your circle. We surround ourselves by people that are not.
Isn't it all about me? Isn't that what we're trying to learn? All about me.
I mean, all the women I know are like that too, and I was raised by women like that, so I have a hard time buying into the oppressed woman narrative, because the women that raised me were far from oppressed. They did whatever they thought they needed to do to provide for their family and raise their children, and they were every bit the equal of the men. And frankly, that ties into my Scandinavian heritage, which goes literally probably 1,000 years back, where Viking women were no thing to be messed with.
Mm-hmm. Hey, that's what I am too, Scandinavian, and that's my heritages also.
Yeah, I have an interesting history with Mexican and Scandinavian, but neither Hispanic women nor Scandinavian women were anything to be fucked with.
Yep.
What? Are you trying to tell me the Latino ladies are not as warm-blooded?
Oh. I went to a lovely, lovely lunch today with a very lovely Cuban woman that I truly, truly like. And I had to dodge at least 3 slaps, and she was happy.
Yeah, that's about right.
I can't imagine anybody oppressing her at all.
Right.
Kind of a silly narrative if you know the women that I know. I can't imagine Jason oppressing Kristina.
No. No.
Listen, woman, get back in the kitchen and make me some pie.
So let's tell the folks out there about the sandwich story.
Oh, yes.
About the plate of sandwiches. We were all sitting around the bonfire eating sandwiches, and Chris went to bed. We were up late, and Joe's like, we'd had a few, and Joe's like, oh, those sandwiches really good. Do you think that there's any more? And I was like, I'm sure that if you go ask, she'll make you more. And he's like, oh, I'm not gonna do that.
There was no way in hell I was waking up that Scandinavian woman and be like, hey, make me some sandwiches.
Yeah. No. That would have been a funny situation.
The whole pause, it was like a long crickets. Oh, I'm not doing that.
I for real wanted some more bologna sandwiches, but not that bad. It was like, all right, well, I guess it's the end of the night then, Jason. Oh, good times, man. It's getting to be summertime.
Yeah,
It is.
it's gonna be crazy.
It's going to be almost 90 degrees on Sunday. It's going to be 86 or something like that.
Are you guys coming out tomorrow?
We're
The
the
lake?
lake.
Outside?
Well,
We might go outside.
We'll definitely go. We're gonna try to finish that bathroom project I started.
Kristina,
I know.
serious question. Do you ever have enough on your plate, or do you just try to constantly add more?
I needed something that made me happy. So
Are you happy with that bathroom project?
no.
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 So for the record, the people you're talking to right now, they don't make you happy at all.
Oh man, I could cuss at you right now. Oh, making you happy. No, I do. It's funny because I do have to stay busy. I mean, I do, but yeah, you're right. I actually had to pull some stuff off my plate to be able to put that bathroom on my plate. So I got rid of some things so that I could do it.
Yeah,
I don't think the folks out there realize how much she does. You do because you know her, and I do because I live here. But she's always doing things that are just mountainous, just way big projects. Lots of them all the time. Several devices to call her on.
So that's why I brought that up. It was a little bit of a joke, but it was also to make a point that the reason that I begged you for probably almost 2 years to do this with me was because you were so driven, and it's like whatever challenge is in front of you, like you have to defeat it.
That's about right. Oh my goodness, I think you just nailed that. Yep.
Yeah.
And but see, that's the thing, is there's people out there that do that and then
and not just get her done. Gonna be the best ever to ever do it ever. It's gonna be huge. I'm gonna do it better than anybody ever.
Huge. No expense spared. It's gonna be huge.
Nobody's seen the likes of me yet.
It's a true story, man. And like, I don't know if I've ever told you this, Kristina, but you're inspiring to me.
Oh, well, thank you.
Well, you are, because I mean, you tackle so many different things. You've done so many things in your life. And probably the only thing I could ever hold against you is that you get a little crazy sometimes and like take on too much. And
Yeah,
it's like, it's almost like you get bored with things and you're like, okay, I feel like I kind of know what's going on here. I want to find something tougher.
yeah. Okay.
Not something else, something tougher,
Right.
something harder to do.
Yes. Well, hopefully this summer I'm going to try to. Everything should be in place in my 2 jobs.
And then she's gonna go get her pilot's license.
And then I can enjoy the summer more this year, I think.
And you're currently pursuing a degree in astrophysics, right?
No. This is my project management certificate.
It's just never enough with you, and I've always loved that about you. I mean, it's a strength and a fault, that's a great thing. It's not an insult. I don't mean it that way, but
You are the same way, honestly.
Yeah.
You are. You
Yeah.
move. Yep,
Yeah.
you have.
We're both prone to job burnout.
Yes.
And just like you put so much into something, you study, you learn, you get really hyper into something, and then I don't know about you, I'm going to speak for myself. I just get kind of frustrated with those around me. And I'm like, oh, they're not putting as much into it as I am, and then I want to move on to something else.
This is your first week on the job. How come you don't know what I know in 15 years?
What? You don't know the entire history of this industry? What is your
Yeah.
problem?
You learn it really fast. This is what you do. Yeah.
Google it.
Google it.
God, you didn't teach yourself, you idiot. I
You
get
think
that
spare
way.
time's for?
Yeah. Spare time
and I
is for
think-
working yourself to death.
You know, and this is kind of probably taking it. So when I was young, and I think my mom has, okay, let me start over. When I was young, my dad was very abusive. When we kind of went into this, but we didn't when we did our questions episode. But so one thing that he told me, and if you could, think back of what was the meanest thing someone ever told you. He had told me straight out when I was like 16 that I would amount to nothing. And that kind of hit a nerve, because since I was little, we were called names. And then that was, I mean, it was really strong what he said. And I think what happened there is I was like, yeah, well, I'm going to do much, much better than you. And so from that day forth, that's when I started. I mean, I had my first apartment when I was, I guess he told me that when I was 13. I had my first apartment when I was 15.
Keep talking. I gotta go piss.
You want to pause?
No, if you're talking, the camera's on you.
Oh, okay, cool.
Pause.
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 So yeah, I think that's the reason why I keep
What
moving.
Joe doesn't know is we've replaced his coffee with Folgers crystals. Okay, now I totally lost it. I was like, but I think your people through your life make you negative or good, push you into your future. So, and I think that's where I'm at, and that's why I do it. Kind of a sad way to doing it, but so Oops, don't talk about him here. He is.
that's why I have to be the best at it. So
Through the magic
Joe,
of
how's your
editing.
coffee?
Through the magic of editing, I did not just go take a piss.
how's your coffee, Joe? Just take a quick sip.
It's going well, man. I broke the seal earlier at Beaver Bob's house, and I'm sorry.
Yeah, it happens.
Reality is when I edit this, I'm probably just leaving that in.
yeah,
You should. It was good.
yeah.
Yeah, breaking the seal. I can drink coffee all day, not worry about it. I can drink tea all day, not worry about it. But if I have a cup of coffee and then a cup of tea, it's over. It's over. I'm fire hosing everybody.
But before I went and took my break, you said something that really related to me. And when I was young, I had my naysayers, and I had people that told me I was doing it wrong and that I would never amount to anything, and that I was making the wrong decisions, and underestimated me for sure.
Mhm.
And that was my goal in life, is to prove those people wrong. I've long since done that, but I'm still motivated. It's like I've always I relate everything to football, because that's my
That's
thing.
life, right?
That's my thing, right? I'm spiking the football. Like at this
Mhm.
point, I'm running the score up. I don't care. Like it's not enough. I shut you up a long time ago, but it ain't enough. I'm gonna
Right.
run you out of the building.
Yep.
And I don't care if they admit it or not. It doesn't matter. They know who they are, and they see me, and they got to deal with it every day.
Yep.
Yeah, you told me I wasn't going to amount to shit, but I now make double what you make. My life is set, and it's not enough.
Yeah, you just want to keep, you want to keep going. That's what my mom says. She's like, when are you going to be satisfied? That's what she used to ask me all the time.
Never.
And she's like, you keep pushing, you're going to work yourself to death. And I'm like, no, I'm fine. But yeah, she used to ask that. She goes, who are you trying to prove?
I think
And
at
I'm
some
like,
point it becomes just a battle with yourself.
Yep, I was gonna say myself. I'm trying to prove it to myself. So, but
At some point, it's no longer about as much as I just said that I'm spiking the football, but that crowd left a long time ago. I'm just running up the score for my purposes now, just to see how far I can go personally.
Yep.
Because
Yep.
they have no argument. They haven't had an argument for probably 15 years, but it's not.
Well, see, and he died. He died like 20 years ago. So,
Oh man, has it been that long?
mhm.
I'm old.
So,
I'm getting old.
I mean,
falling out of a truck let you know you're getting old.
yeah. Right back.
Where you going?
I'm going to go grab something.
she's getting urine.
What Tina doesn't know is we've replaced her coffee with Folgers crystals.
But Jason,
Joe?
you're kind of, I think it's cool to probably bring up your motivations in life because they're very different than Kristina and I. And I kind of envy you in a lot of ways because your motivations are just kind of, I want to be happy. I want to be myself. I want to experience life.
Yeah, that mountaintop is a nice goal to have, but it can break you, and I've been broken. And now I don't want a house. I don't want a car. I just want to, I don't know. It's not that I don't want to do anything. I just don't want to, I don't want to stress about nothing. But it's funny that you can never really escape that. I mean, even simpling your life up considerably, it's still, you're always pushing, you're always trying to do better, you're always trying to stay in your box, you're always trying to, so it's all perspective, really.
In evolutionary terms, I think as humans, we need some sort of adversity. So
Yeah.
no matter how much we simplify our lives, we're still going to find that adversity or we just die.
Yeah, and yeah, it's easy to zen out and peace with the world and everything is great, but then you get a phone call from your daughter's vice principal about where her car is parked and why she can't make it to a place she's not even supposed to be that day. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where her car's parked. Thank you for starting my day off right.
Yeah, exactly. Like you don't rule this over here.
First of all, the fact that she can say, well, how come Gracie doesn't have her car? All right, maybe you better take a step back and check the regular world, because not every kid's got a car. That's a rare thing. I didn't have a car at that age.
Yeah.
So Gracie's car, yeah, okay, how is it that Grace didn't make it to school? If they were in school and she's not being truant, okay, let's address that maybe, if that's the case, but it's not the case. She's doing school here.
Yeah. It's
It's
a strange. Go ahead.
Back in the day, back when I was a youth, the sheriffs used to patrol kids for truancy, not going to school, not being when they're not supposed to be, basically. And I with the current climate, how do they even enforce truancy laws anymore?
That's an
Kids can be anywhere
point.
at any time for any reason.
Yeah. Yep. It's wow. That's probably more than we can unpack.
That's a big question right there.
It is.
Topic. It's such a huge topic.
It is.
That's another one of my markers that nobody wants to hear about.
We'll save that for the next one.
Another set of heroes.
Yeah. No, man. I mean, like, it's a good question, dude, because you can't have it both ways.
No.
You can't have a world where we're hyper concerned about safety and we're hyper concerned about the virus and whatever safety precautions you want to take or the right safety precautions, and then also say, why aren't you at school?
Well, right. Yeah, that's where I was going with that. How do they even, I doubt that it's even something that they worry about as they're sitting in their briefing in the morning. Hey, I saw 2 kids walking down the street at 3 p.m. or 2:30 p.m. I guess, or whatever. how come we're not enforcing that? You know, I seriously doubt I seriously doubt that's even a question on their plate.
So do you think that that was brought up to you because of other students?
Yes. Yes, I do. I think that with the drama that runs rampant, especially in small towns, that subterfuge is very contagious. So yeah, not being present, or she's having issues with other students. I think that it's just like being at work when somebody's walking around behind the boss and talking what they're talking what they're not supposed to be talking while you're out working. Same song, second verse.
See, and I don't think it's that. I think what it is it's a bit of a control thing that the teacher or this person took on. Now she's, well, I'll just tell the parents. She just kind of took it on as an ego thing and tried to take like power. It's a power trip.
You think?
Oh, absolutely, it was a power trip. Because they put them, when they go in for help, extra help, they put them in there's a room that they put bad kids in. So if you're screwing around in class or you get caught smoking in the bathroom, then they put you in this class. They completely take you out of the classrooms and put you in a building outside of the building. And that's where you're taught for like 2 weeks straight because you're a bad kid. So if you're a kid that's a decent kid that's working from home, but you just need to come in for extra help, they put you in that classroom. And then that teacher pretty much yells at the kids the whole time. So you can't get up. She got up to go to the restroom. She had her bag and she goes, I'm going to go to the restroom. I have to change for soccer starting here soon. And she's like, go. So she got up and went and changed. And she goes, you didn't tell me you were changing into your soccer outfit. And she's like, yeah, I did. She goes, don't talk to me with that tone. So she's like, okay. So she basically called her and she says, I'm just not going to come in anymore. She goes, I get stuck in the room where the kids are treated bad and yelled at most of the day and I can't concentrate. She goes, I get more accomplished at home. And I think it's a power thing for this principal and these teachers, honestly.
In the late 90s in Missouri, we had something that we called alternative school. I don't know if you had anything like that in Colorado. But
what's the Cardinal school called?
The Cardinal school?
Oh, yeah, I gotcha. Alternative.
Yeah, it's like another public school in the same district, basically, for that type of reason.
For a very brief amount of time before I completely quit school, I went to an alternative school, and it was actually the opposite of what you're talking about. They had students that I think they understood were like beyond all the bullshit, and they didn't have the rules like, oh, you can't wear a hat in the hallway or whatever. They stopped focusing on such minute little things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they just tried to focus on what was important and just teach those kids. And I actually really enjoyed my brief time in alternative school because it was a shedding of all the nonsensical rules that made no difference. Like, why does it matter if you wear a hat in the hallway?
Right.
What does it matter what I'm wearing? If I'm covering my hair, why does that matter? It doesn't. It's an irrelevant rule that you made. It's arbitrary and it has no purpose.
Most rules are like that.
Right. And I think a lot of the kids that were in those alternative schools were kind of to that point where they were like, for what? Like, how does that affect my learning? I'm here to learn. So I think they kind of lifted that veil and were like, all right, you guys are kind of getting caught up on something that's not so important. Let's take all that away and just focus on learning. and it was really useful. I still ended up quitting school because there was still some of that, and I was still bored, right? But ultimately, I think that was a really good idea, and I don't think it continued. I don't know. I haven't really followed Missouri education because of course, I left and went to the military, so I had no reason to follow kind of what happened. But I don't know if they still have alternative schools. I hope they do because seemed like a good idea.
Yeah, I think that would be better.
Just like it was more of
It's
like
a
a
good idea. They
college.
probably don't have it no more.
Exactly. It was almost like a college atmosphere, where it was like, okay, show up to class, learn, and like if you don't do your stuff, then you're not getting the grade, period.
Right.
I don't care if you're chewing gum and wearing a hat. I really don't care. Just please learn.
Yep. Don't be disruptive and just learn.
Right. So I don't know. I appreciated that. It's probably gone. anything that's good is just
Beneficial.
like, right. Let's make sure we make you a compliant sheep.
Now recite these numbers.
Yes. What's your student number?
Oh,
It's
this has
Go
been
ahead.
crazy. We went from Star Wars to alternative schools.
Yeah, we covered a lot. It was pretty good. I'm half in the bag.
Yep. Oh, we should do one where we're totally in the back.
That'd be fun. Actually.
Yeah. What is next Friday?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
I almost did a fired up Friday today, just because there was so much stuff going on, and then I thought about talking about what was going on at the Capitol, and I'm sure you guys saw that. So
That's hot.
I think that one individual's actions are probably going to be used to justify a standing army in our capital for the next however long they decide.
3 years, 9 months.
Yeah.
48 hours, 72 seconds. Yep.
I was watching that thing in the Capitol. I'm like, you know what? If this was handled differently as media, then it could be made into what it is, one individual person taking a crazy action and was probably a disturbed individual. But instead it's made into this gigantic event where we're cycling over and over again, and we're watching an entire platoon of Army National Guard troops march double time to some unknown event where somebody is already dead. What are you doing? Where are you going? Why are you double timing to an event that's already over? Did you see the images that I'm talking about?
Yeah, well, I watched some of the news coverage and I listened to the Capitol Police talk. I didn't get really into it yet. I looked everywhere for it. They are not covering it very well where I was looking. So I need to go on to like Newsmax and OAN and check it out. But
I was watching the CNN feed at Beaver Bob's house, and we were kind of talking about, because I don't want to talk too much about Beaver Bob because he has a career to protect and everything like that. We protect his identity, and he's a good friend of ours. But he is a professional, and he is in the law enforcement field. And we were kind of watching it together, and we're like, what are they doing here? Like, what are they showing? This event is over. Why are they showing Army National Guard troops double time with riot shields over to
Boogie, boogie, boogie. That's why.
Yeah. Like, I'm watching these dudes double time over with their freaking riot shields. Like, where are you going? It was one dude in a car that did something stupid. He's dead. What I don't understand. Why do we need a whole platoon over there of probably military police that are highly trained, that spent the last however many years of their career planning and training to deal with a very serious event? And here we are going to a terrible, terrible event, which I'm not trying to belittle, but the situation is already dealt with.
Yep.
What are we doing?
So Now that it's a bad situation, but you know you're right. You're gonna have so many people saying that the left, this is the conspiracy theory thing. The left planned this so that they can keep the military there longer.
Well, they
It's
can keep
hard.
the military there as long as they want them to. He's the commander-in-chief.
Yeah, I mean, you
They can
can,
put tanks up on the lawn. They can do whatever they want.
but they have to justify it though. They can't just do it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he kind of can do whatever he wants. I mean,
Yeah,
he's the
he can.
commander in chief.
Yeah,
He can
maybe
put them
Nancy
on
can.
Title 10 orders and do whatever he wants. But I think you're right. It is a little bit of that conspiracy theory thing. And as you know, I always hesitate to fall into that
Mhm.
because it can be used against us when we go to make solid, rational arguments against what's going on. They want to turn that around and say, well, you believe there's freaking aliens landing in Roswell.
Right.
And they make you look like an idiot and try to discredit you for any good, actual, rational argument that you might have. So I'm very, very hesitant to join in on any conspiracy theory for that reason. But an event like this really makes you question what's going on. And
Well, and I hate to say it because there's lives involved, right? You have lives involved in this. And same with the shootings that have taken place this last month, there's lives involved. And then you have the conspiracy theory that they're trying to get gun control. So all of a
Yeah.
sudden, now we have mass shootings again, right in the middle of them trying to pass gun control laws. So if they
Yeah.
can show the population how bad guns are by, and I don't know, maybe maybe that guy he's dying anyway, and
he had a
he had
knife.
money and yeah, yep.
So no, what you're saying is a valuable thought to add to the conversation. And we had a lot of conversations on the Facebook page this week about gun control, but it boils down to the last recorded year had 364 murders committed with a rifle of any kind, not just an assault rifle, any kind. That means Bubba went out and took his 30-06 out of the back of his truck and shot Ma because she was cheating on him. 364 in a nation of 350 million people
Right.
is statistically irrelevant. And I'm not saying those lives are irrelevant. I'm just saying statistically we have to look at things and decide whether it's worthy of legislation. And when you're talking about the minute percentage of 0.0001%, that is not statistically relevant for us to talk about legislation. But that conversation never comes up. It's just, look at all these mass murders.
Yep.
Assault's a verb, just so you. It's not a noun.
It's not an adjective, right? Like we can't use that. This assault rifle. What is
and this
that
is
even?
an assault mouse because I can smack you with a mouse.
If we put some edges on it or painted it black.
Put a scope on it.
Yeah. A black rifle. That's an assault rifle. How is that not racist? Black rifles are assault rifles? That's racist.
They were born that way, man. Don't be like that.
Well, I don't want to keep you guys up too late. I'm all sauced up and I could probably talk all night, but it's been
You're gonna have to chop this one up. I was just looking at the clock.
Oh yeah,
what 20 minutes?
What time is it?
11:09.
How long have we been talking?
10 something.
Hell yeah.
1 hour.
I'm posting it. I don't care.
Yeah.
I've found no correlation between the duration of the video and how many views we get.
Oh, really?
I haven't. The 1 minute videos sometimes get a lot of views, and sometimes the hour-long videos get a lot of views.
That was your military buddy. I really enjoyed that episode.
Did you
that
really?
Was a good episode. Yeah, I did. You kind of dragged on and elbow ribbed each other a few times, but the the content was great. I liked it.
Yeah, I appreciate that. We
Now,
did.
caveat that I was also on my North Platte run where that highway just draws on, man.
But
So
I've
it
told
didn't
you
seem like an hour to
before.
me.
No, I've told you before. That's kind of our target audience is people that are doing stuff. They're doing other things, and they can listen to the show. They don't necessarily need to see what we're doing. Whatever we're doing on the video portion isn't necessarily the important factor. It's what we're talking about. And, I mean, if you're doing some other task at work or driving or whatever, you can listen to us. And I listen to a ton of podcasts like Joe Rogan. I mean, his show's 3.5 hours long sometimes. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. I like what they're talking about. I'll chop it up. I'll listen to 45 minutes at a time, or sometimes if I'm working, I'll listen to the whole damn thing all at once. So I don't know.
You were trying to figure out that other social media.
TikTok, yeah.
Pitter-patter, TikTok.
TikTok, man.
There's a little girl over here that runs the heck out of the TikTok. You might ask her to do it.
I want her to do it. She's I fully embrace her running our social media because I don't truly understand social media. And honestly, I don't like it. It bothers me at times. Like I get disturbed, as you can see. If you're a member of our Facebook group, I get a little worked up sometimes. I don't mean anything by it. I just, I have my strong opinions, and I sometimes, as much as I try, don't understand how somebody is completely on the other 180 from where I'm at. And that's something I'm working on. I want to understand why they're 180 degrees from where I'm at. I don't hate them for that. I'm not mad at them for it. It's just sometimes I can't wrap my brain around it. I get a little frustrated.
I don't know. I'm the same thing. I don't understand it. That's a whole new topic. We can go on for forever, but I agree.
I've got a different viewpoint altogether that nobody wants to hear.
but just to, I guess we'll probably end it here, but just to reiterate, I appreciate the people that are 180 degrees away from the way we view things, that stay on there and talk to us about it, because it is valuable for us to discuss those things and kind of see where they're coming from when we get past our initial emotional reaction and we start breaking down the conversation of why they are the way they are and why they see things the way they see things. It's very valuable. So I appreciate them, and I'm glad they put up with my initial emotional reactions and still talk to me. So that's good. I appreciate them. So we're going to wrap it up?
Yep, I think so.
Okay.
Can we do the cheer? I want to do the cheer.
Do the cheer.
Yeah.
What's the cheer?
I plead the first cheer.
Ready, go.
I don't know. I was going to follow you guys.
All right. I'll hit it up with the safety briefing that probably people are a little bit late to get. But hey, don't drink and drive. Don't add anybody to the population. Don't subtract from the population. Be safe out there. I'll see you on Monday.
Sounds good.
All right. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you. Appreciate you.
Yeah. Everybody smoking all the greenery. Yeah. Close the match 'cause they were handed down to me. But I'm still fly, I know. I'm still fly, let's go. It could all be worse, I could be a